Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under Commanding General Yahana, presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person, ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
For shelter, comfort, a hedge of protection. The only way you're going to find it is here in ISUPK, and you're going to find out how to properly serve the Most High. So when these bombs drop and the things that's going to happen to this nation happens, you can have the Lord's protection around you. And we don't want you to be sure that you have it. We want you to make sure that you have it. And how do you make sure? You get in these classes in ISUPK and study to show yourself approved of what we're talking about. If you don't believe it, go back to being the disgusting person you've always been your whole life.
That's not how it should be, man. This scripture that Christ had told his disciples is how you stop crime as a whole. Because when you go to him and him alone, and for you sisters out there who love the beef and who don't like to talk to another woman about, how she, treated you, you sisters need to go to her alone as well.
Nobody is holding you accountable for the things that you say you were doing or not doing. There's no, like the scriptures say, everything should be done in decency and in order.
That's right. There's
no order and decency with you going on the internet and running in the streets with no guidance, without being sent, without being anointed by the man of the Lord, by being sent by a man of God out there on them streets. You must be sent.
When you hear us say salute, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Shabbat, right? That is Hebrew, okay? Shalom, Shalom, that is not Hebrew. I don't know where you learned that from, most likely from Esau, from the Jewish. On the street corners. And we ain't selling dope, but we are teaching you how to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We are teaching you how to not be a drug addict and a drug dealer,
Right.
How to keep you out of prison, how to not make you a target for Esau to use.
Tell you the truth that's in the building, give me a hand. They wait out here and travel to make sure that you get some of this amazing food and different things like that. And I gotta give a big shout out to my sisters and ISUPK, man. They cooked this amazing food. I can't ever pull it out. Let's give them a hand, and our sisters in ISUPK. And cook this amazing food. It's gonna be absolutely delicious. And then Dad absolutely like he's my brother, Travion, and his baby man, Candy, they still came through in the midst of this, man, they still showed up and gonna do, like I said, I have no idea why this group ain't, mainstream. The first time I hold it, but I said, as soon as I can, I'm gonna shout out you again, man, y'all are amazing, and people need to hear how amazing y'all been. I can't wait to buy y'all album and see y'all on the big screens, man. It's going to happen because y'all not letting it go. So that's Travion, I met the brother, a great brother, they're doing the work, doing drumming with the YMCA, and I seen him walk in doing the performance and had no idea that the brother had the voice of an angel somewhere. It was amazing. It was amazing. So we got them and they still showed up. And that's how you know that the Most High is with us. Man, the brother still showed up in the midst of this thing trying to be shut down.
Right.
So we're gonna do that and we're gonna get it together. So first and foremost, I know that Trevion came and do their thing. They're gonna open us up, and then we're gonna get into y'all a breakdown of the history of substance abuse disorder. We have a PowerPoint. We're gonna go over that real quick, and then we're gonna get into the surveillance podcast with Captain Mara Quad and the Brown. Amazing things. Eat some of this glorious food that these sisters have prepared with love. All right, no, nothing unlawful. You know what I'm saying? Everything that the Lord approves of. And we're going to do that. And then they're going to close us out. And then we're going to have a Q&A, any questions and things like that. Then we're going to get out of here, man. And have a good time and enjoy the rest of our weekend. I appreciate y'all for showing up, everybody who's supporting this. And I want to give a shout out. They just came from that. My brother is red. My brother Duke is red chocolate man for opening up their home and giving us this location to continue this event as well. Let's get it in my hand. Thank y'all. And so yeah, let's get to it, man. Without further ado, I want to introduce Trevion and Ken, man. Let's give them a hand, y'all.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be sharing space with you. It loves to be here. Thank you for the opportunity for that. My name is Trey. A couple of things for you. Let me tell you about the girl. Maybe I should. Better pick and make this promotion. We be making love constantly. That's why my hands are ashamed. Love baby. The way that we kiss is uncanny. And the way that I be here. Yes, I'm with a face of emotion. Brown sugar back. I guess I hope you love. I don't know. That's good. I'll bring you close to me. You love me right now, turn it on. Anywhere, sweet like honey when it comes to me. Can't tell it now with the total eyes. Even gotta make sense about it. Even try to talk. Brown sugar man. I guess I on this love, don't know how to be a thing. Better than you with something brown sugar. Next time. Yes, those bands out here. Yes, on the bed. When you walk in me, I'm better in love with you. I'm better in love with you. Oh. I'm better in love with you. I'm better in love with you. I'm better in love with you. I got my camera right here. Oh, no, you got it. Remember it feels this way. something I can't make you stay. Baby, a little better. No time back. It's gonna be a good night. Yeah. Everybody needs let's breathe. Let it go and let it on my feet. Let off the back. No time back. It's gonna be a good time. Yeah. Well, it's true. When I know you want to ever look up, they'll stay through. Knowing you yeah. And the day must end, it's done. And the night must go beautiful. It's done, it's done. I'll be there and see you just as long as there is time. I'll be there, ready, you're mine. I will never betray my heart. Said I will never betray my heart. I will never betray my heart. Said I will never betray my heart. Never bring down. Hey, but you say what you say now. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, keep my eyes moving. Yeah. I was feeling high. The world keeps turning. But a day, believe that no, it knows nothing at all. But it's colder in your summertime, it's colder in your fall. You and things called us by our names. Most intellects the night. They've got but they fear us just the same. Oh, no, and on and on. Yes, I know, but I don't want to stop. You know, and on. Now, what am I supposed to do when you want you in the world? Now, when I was in front of myself, I guess it's here. with $3 every single time. Yeah, you might like, but you will not enjoy. I want to agree. I'm gonna now. The world keeps turning. You want to be struck to go to you. You're getting most into they got, but they fear us just the same. And I won't know what's happening. I don't want to stop. And I'm yeah. Cause my heart is coming down. Don't be me. Good because I know my name is a team. The world keeps burning. You're rushing so distracted. You know that the mothership can't say it's so romantic. If you were paid and made and covered by our flame, most intellectual that got what they do is just the same. Oh, on and 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 on. Yeah. Yeah. You know, the best trying to do when I talk to you, stop to what I know, shit, free, but you're saying, the world is all the time. Many days I still know, so many times I've changed my mind. Without a mistakes, but I ain't scared to stray away. So when someone's on my back, I don't try hard, no got me. I try to decide which way to go. And I will turn back to the trying to decide which way to go. Think I made a wrong turn back Oh, the bass. It makes do you even signs? Do you believe in true crime? What you was about? You believe in God, your banks on your soul. Does your little fade when your down start to grow? You don't even goes, behold the big you can't control. Your presence speaks of the way now you're paranoid. To do for most. How long will you believe when someone you don't see? In the world, it's for the man, escape from the heart. I was in the journey. So today, it's one of the nights. To the red brick room, we're at the light. We're in the room, please close the light. Let's get from the heart. Don't speak the time. It's fun to play. Show all the past. Choose your path. You know, I never last. Look at my fingers. Everybody can't escape. Always don't get the place. Can't be the joy of the day. Look at my fingers. Choice I think that keep it blind. The building's not what the highs. Can't believe the way about the highs. Look at my fingers. There's no real flow. The cycle all sing the home. Sing the same song that I didn't know that I better so long ago. But the disconnect even know. The breeze I in the phone. Still break my wrist for the stories that I know. Hey, I don't go. Still break my wrist for the gospel till I don't go. Doing things until I'm back home. Still break my wrist for the home till I don't go. Yeah.
Let's try and make space. Yeah.
Thank you. And we are drinking on a candy. I think we're gonna do 1, 2. Yep.
Ain't nobody gonna stop me from saying, man.
I'm done. We got, all right, we're gonna do one more for you, and then we're gonna pass it over to you. Yeah, let's get that. Yeah. This next one is, that last one was Eric Badu, but the last little bit of it was an original called Ghost. This one is another original called Misconceptions. Keep an eye out for us. We got some big things coming. Feels like I'm about to go up my mind. Witnessing the that gave me once a day. Needing time to prepare and prepare. For the feathers right and the roots of the ground. You left me with nothing but honey. Something I swore I never lose. Now something but rage runs through my body. And there was no something but I know. But start I thought it was you.
Oh, she might.
The truth is mine.
If you're
Turned out I never saw reality until today. But you told me you were in love with another being alone. I wish you told me that before I placed me so much for everything. Because you're still the only one I think of. Words can't explain what they go through and on. I haven't come with it. I can't dream of how I have been you. How do I stop being here with strangers? That's my life. That's through my brain. Got best guy to call the mood. In my voice, I think my from the start, I miss you and me. But the truth is nice to be honest. Yeah, and now I never saw reality. Until the day. You were in love with me. I wish you told me that before I placed you on everything. He's the only one I think of. Can't explain the way we'll do it. Break it open. Oh, hurt understanding. My misconceptions, my range. So you don't want me to come and give a this conception. Thank you.
Oh, they say them all. Oh. Pick them up. All right, hey, one more time, man. Give it up for Travion and Kenny, man. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely amazing, amazing band. You know, we got we have been blessed to get a little bit more from them a little later, but we want to get into some of the things, other things that we're doing here tonight. Do a quick presentation, like I told y'all a little bit ago, about substance abuse disorder. Okay, we're gonna do a brief history on what substance abuse disorder is and where it came from and how we got here. All right, because at first, like I said, y'all know the history was the war on drugs. It was we were crackheads, we were criminals and things like that. But now that substance abuse and addiction has been gentrified, that's no longer the case. Now they need help. Well, now they need therapy. Now they need support. And there's so many resources that our people who was thrown into the bottom of the prisons had no idea about. The things that my father personally had no idea about. I had to, suffer my father did, taking my father off life support due to substance abuse disorder. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fentanyl that came through back in 2016. And so that's what inspired me started to burn in me to help another brother and sister not have to suffer like I suffered with my father. But one of the things that we have to know about is that there is tons of help and tons of resources out there. And one of those resources, the reason that we are here right now today and doing this, even in the midst of trying to be shut down, is the ISUPK MN General Yohana. You know what I'm saying? They definitely tried to shut him down, but the Lord saw fit that this is what's going on. This information must continue to get out. All right. So that's what this is all about. So we're going to go through a brief history of how one of substance abuse disorder, okay, and how we got to that point. We wasn't always there. Like I said, we all have right now today. We've been touched or been affected by this disease, this mental disorder that they called it now. We've all suffered from it. And so we want to make sure that people are aware. That's what this is about, substance abuse awareness, okay? Awareness of the resources that's out there for you and for your people. Because now AI is taking so many jobs, and this is one of them that's kind of AI proof. You know what I'm saying? These life, people who have life experiences, lived experience with this disorder, and support brothers and sisters out there. This is how you can create a career in helping people battle this demon. That's why we call it battling the demon of substance abuse disorder, because people don't even know you can get paid and start a career from helping people battle this demon once you have conquered it. All right? And the generals always tell us life is war, and every day is a battle. So every day you battle this disorder. So if you lose the battle and you woke up today, you didn't lose the war. You still got a chance to battle the disorder and not let it overtake you and become your demise. Like unfortunately my father had to meet his due to this battle. All right, I don't want you to have to suffer like I had to suffer taking your father off life support because of something that, a disease that you have, a mental disorder that you have. All right, I don't want you to have to suffer like that. All right, so this is why we're doing this, man. We love our people, okay? We're not out there in the streets rioting. We right here trying to fix our people, and that's what it's all about. Creating small sanctuaries where people can come and be healed and be amongst one another, listen to amazing music, something to feed your spirit, amazing food, something to feed your soul. This is what this is about, man. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to be out there suffering like that. We can be out here helping one another here. The scriptures say iron sharpens iron. And while tonight we get later on, I want brothers and sisters to come up here. You may have battled this demon of substance abuse and have been winning the battle. But don't let your light be hidden under a mattress. Show us those skills and those weapons you use to defeat that demon. All right? Somebody here can benefit from your battle. From your battles that you continue to battle. So we're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna talk about that. Is this we got a few more hours, we're gonna get into it. A couple more, we got some amazing food. for y'all to get into it. But let's get into this. You ready for me? All right, we're gonna get into it. So this is the history of substance abuse. If anybody don't know who I am, my name is Officer Kodash Diana 5000 ISUPK, Commanding General Yohana Man, and I'm honored that y'all are here with me today to, get this information out and be here to battle. I'm happy that y'all are here on the battlefield with me. That's what it feels like right now. We on the front line of the struggle right now. And we on the battlefield together, man. And I appreciate y'all being here battling with me today. Battling against this team of substance abuse, man. So the first slide we got here is the history of substance abuse disorder. Before, that was not the case. It wasn't substance abuse disorder. It was crackhead. It was the war on drugs. But we don't get into it. All right. The history of substance abuse disorder from ancient times to modern treatment, Brick by Brick Foundation. And I want to say that about Brick by Brick Foundation. We are a new nonprofit organization. Me and my brother Terrence, who I grew up with, my brother McCartney and I, SUPK, and the sister Isaiah, who just she left but she is part of Brick by Brick. Making this thing, let's get in my hand, man. Really make up our ground, man. Just applied on third grade. Get brothers and sisters jobs. I'm in the midst of building a house from the ground up to be able to house brothers and sisters coming out of recovery and reentry. It's not just recovery, it's also reentry. So brothers coming out of prison, having them get acclimated back into society. So we're before certain, we already doing food programs, food and clothing programs, and we have shelter as well. Brothers and sisters, man. So that's gonna be glorious, Lord willing, that comes to pass. And, so I appreciate y'all for coming out. Let's get to it. So can we get the next slide there for the question? So the history of substance abuse disorder, the ancient time, somebody talking about Brick by Brick Foundation. Let's do it. All right. Early records of substance abuse. The ancient civilizations used alcohol, opium, and plant medicines. The evidence, I keep on listing up to the Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia.
Egypt, China, Greece, y'all remember back in those times, even the ancient, the natives, over there, they use them substances sometimes to come up with names and different things like that at the time. You come up little Bigfoot, you know what I'm saying, little small Bigfoot, whatever, you know what I'm saying. But they was back in these days, they was, the Egypt, Greece, and China using them for whatever madness or whatever they had going on as well. But at that time, it was considered spiritual medicine and social not viewed as a disorder at this time. It was not a disorder at this time, man, in the ancient times. Okay, one second. It was not there we go. All right. Early human use substances ritualistically for medication, not as we define addiction today. All right. So next slide. That's the ancient time. Keep going. All right. The middle age of 1700s. All right. Alcohol became common in Europe and the colonies. Tobacco spread globally. Little medical understanding of addiction existed. This is still a time where, people still burning. We don't know exactly what's going on. They still finding out, we running around like this, having and them trying different things, trying to see what's good and what's not. You know what I'm saying? They really don't know what's going on at the time. Okay. Alcohol and tobacco became widespread, but addiction wasn't medically recognized. Right. It was not medically recognized at the time. Right. All right. So that's still, that history was not medically recognized in the Middle Ages. Keep going. All right, then we got the 1800s, opium, introduced, industrialism, industrialization of opium and morphine were widely used. And if y'all know this one of the things I want to touch on. I don't know how fentanyl, you remember when we was going to the hospital, it was, morphine was the thing that they gave everybody. Then all of a sudden, now you're going in there, your wife is going through labor, and now they're telling you they can give her some fentanyl. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, what? What do you mean? My people just died from this the other day. You ain't gonna give her some fentanyl, you know? And so, then they tell you, like, no, we got the real fentanyl. We murder. That's on the streets. And they got to explain that whole thing to you. But that's what was going on. I remember at the time it was just morphine, you know what I'm saying? But then they switched over to this what we dealing with now, this fentanyl. But it's an opium and morphine were widely used. Civil War soldiers often became dependent. Doctors began noticing the opium habit. You know what I'm saying? Back in the times, and then we came to understand that in war, when you talk to a lot of your grandparents, who went to that Vietnam and different things like that, they got, super addicted to the opiums over there. Okay? Let me see, make sure I can get stuff. Boom, boom. All right. So this one says, early drug dependence was increasingly noted by doctors. So now they started to see, like, okay, this might be an issue. All right, this something's going on here. There might be something going on, and we gotta take a deeper look at this thing in the 1800s. Go ahead, because like I said, it's still being gentrified at this point. At this time, we still look at it, what did it say, 3/5 of the human. It ain't affecting them. They don't care about the Black, Hispanic, and natives and what it's doing to us. It ain't affecting them. They using it, they get comfortable using it, right? So let's keep going. Next slide, please. Let me keep this so. All right, then now we have the 1900, early 1900 drugs and the policy. Heroin. So heroin was originally legal and stole as medicine. Okay, that's one of the things that, like you said, it was a lot. At one point, if you know anything about history, you know that cocaine was drinking Coca-Cola. If anybody knows the history of drugs, they used to use cocaine and Coca-Cola and different things like that. It was something that was, okay, that wasn't looked at as a problem at the time. They used aspirin, different aspirins. We tell people all the time, that you're abusing drugs because, you're not trying to take aspirin and Tylenol like that every day. Like you're trying to do the purpose of medicine, whatever's going on, but some people, when they doing these aspirins and things like that, they're trying to take themselves out of the game. It's like they take all these pills to underline themselves and different things like that. But, they started making aspirins and things like that. So heroin was originally legal and stolen as medicine. In 1906, pure food and drug are required labeling. In 1914, the Harrison Act regulated narcotics. Okay, so now narcotics is being, prescribed, prescription drugs, and now, so you couldn't even really get it. They said, but we had a high tolerance for pain. In our community. So it was tough for us to even get to. This is where backfiring started, the beginning of the backfiring on it. We couldn't even get, some of these narcotic drugs, the drugs and the pain that narcotic based, because they said, we had a higher tolerance. We could suffer that. All right. The little they know they was setting up their own minds trying to hurt the children of the boat. That's right. Let's keep going. Make sure I miss nothing. Excuse me. So yeah, the move from casual use to, to use the regulations and punishment. Right? So, now that they taxing it, now it's punishment and you sell it without their permission, basically. So that's when that starts, punishment for the drugs. Because now they taxing it. It's the It's a, what you call prescription. So now it's a prescription, now they selling it, so now they put punishments on it, like, okay, if you ain't selling it for me, then you can't sell it. You tax you for it, and then that's when the punishment started happening at that time. So now we are in the mid-1900s, medical and cultural change. Research on addiction and the brain began. Okay, so now this is the way in the 1900s. You know, now it's starting to affect them. They're using these drugs, they keep it from, they push it on their community.
Right.
Research on the brain started began. I know how Anonymous founded in 1935. So this is the first, you know, NA program. People, now this is AA. AA was founded at this time. Okay, so now the programs are starting to happen. People starting to recognize, like, hey, this is the issue. Support is starting to happen, but this is still not support for us. You know, it's support for them. You know, widespreadly. You know what happened to us later. They started to push things out. We didn't want to go too fast, but y'all know what's happening. Anybody know? You know, back then it was already alcohol is anonymous. You know, that's what prohibition. If you want to know, they had that whole thing because it was affecting them.
Right.
Veterans, so it's that in the Vietnam War, highlighting heroin addiction in soldiers. So that's why I was talking about earlier. You talk to any of your grandparents. You know, your grandparents who went to that Vietnam War, they'll tell you, you know, about those lost children that they got over there in Vietnam due to all that substance abuse. But they also tell you all the problems that they have that America doesn't care about. They got this Memorial Day, but America cares so little about their veterans. You will see so many veterans. I go to these 10 cities, to these bridges, and there's so many veterans, ex-veterans, under those bridges, because America doesn't care about their soldiers.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why they need to be in the army of the Lord.
That's right.
You know, the army of the ISUPK MN, so they care about the soldiers. Going to be care about the soldiers, and the things that we need that we get. You know what I'm saying? I did brothers in Minnesota at a short notice, and what did I get? Brothers in Minnesota at a short notice. Brothers needed us in Trinidad at one point. What did they get? We flew over to Trinidad. We got a brother right now over at what county is that over in Colombia? Dominican Republic right now. In Cuba. That's in Cuba right now. You know, in Cuba, feeding the brothers and housing and clothing them brothers. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got going on in the ISUPK, because the convention and how cares about his soldiers. All right. You know, all due to the most high in Christ. Okay?
That's right.
So real quick, you know, keep it going. So, and keep the finger on this one. So what we had 1900, make sure I miss one of the notes on that one. The new site transform. Okay. All right, now let's go to the next one. We good on that one. All right. The 19, we'll be at 1970s and 1990s. This is the science advances. Brain reward systems where black cocaine epidemic emerged. Methamphetamine use increased. So, you know, they being nice about it. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is when they started to push cocaine in our communities.
Right.
That's what really happened. You know, that's how they wanted to stay in on there. Cocaine epidemic emerged. No, it didn't just come out of nowhere. The oppression pushed this thing in our community, funding the war that was right before that. You see, it was a war before that. And they decided to push this cocaine in our community at this time. You know what I mean? And who was it? I want to say it was Reagan. They want to get that right?
Bush.
Reagan and Bush. You know what I'm saying? At this time, they were pushing it to fund the war that they was doing. So it didn't just be burning out of nowhere. They would like to do things like that. What's that thing they call in school right now? They don't want you to know the real history, critical race theory, where they want to take history out of the schools of what they want to say that we were the migration, the great migration,
Right.
voluntary migration is what they call it. To try to So their children don't have to be sad about what their people are. But that's what it's really about. They really don't want their children to suffer and be sad about what their ancestors are. They don't like their children to suffer. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that's really about. So then we murder methamphetamine use increased, okay? You know what I'm saying? That's what was going on at the time. We don't want to let them creeping that up like that.
Right.
All right. You know what? We done slide.
Right.
All right. So let's go to the next one. All right. 2000. So now we here. Prescription opioids became widely misused. Overdose rates increased dramatically. And public health response expanded. And that's where we are now. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, this is the beginning of the gentrification of drug addiction.
Right.
Gentrification, because that's when they fix things, when things start to be gentrified.
Right.
Okay? They don't care about their community until they want white people. They pop up Starbucks, they put that little police scanner up in the community, raise the property tax when you can't afford to live over there, and now the community gets better all of a sudden.
Right.
So if you want anything better in America, you have to hope that it gets gentrified.
That's right.
All right? And we're living in it right now. Right now, what's getting gentrified? Domestic terrorism
Right.
is being gentrified. White people are looking like they Martin Luther King now. In the video, you couldn't have told me that what the beating of Martin Luther King.
Right.
That looked just like Martin Luther King beat, except they pulled out the pistol and they about 15 in them at the same time. I'm like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? That was one of them. I couldn't believe it myself. They couldn't believe it. This is the gentrification that needs to happen for ICE to be gone, for domestic terrorism to stop. It has to start affecting the whole person. It has to start affecting white people. That's the only way they care about fixing things.
Yep. Right.
It's unfortunate. I hate stepping it off for white people. But unfortunately, you being unalive for the police means that a lot of people will probably stop being unalive by the police. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. But that's how it happens. You know what I'm saying? Now that your people are dying from opioids, the opioid crisis, your people are, your children are being unalive. I can't say being unalive because of the opioid crisis. Now a lot of people get to get relief, get to get support. They get to get programs and therapy and things like that. Now we are able to say that we have depression. We wasn't allowed to be depressed. That's just our normal life. How you depressed? That's your everyday life. And we didn't get diagnosed with depression because that's normal life for us.
Right.
Being in here. You know, so they were like, hey, you depressed. That's normal for you. Or he depressed. We don't normally live like this. We should feel bad. That's your everyday life. We put y'all in a situation. What you mean you're depressed? That's your, you suffer that.
I'm pain tolerant.
Right. I'm pain tolerant. You know, the broken window theory. I remember I was in school and I learned about the broken window theory. It blew my mind. I moved into a white neighborhood and I got a ticket for my grass being too high. I said, what? They do that? And I'm like, in the hood, you let these landlords, these big apartment buildings have all the trash, everything in front of their houses with no fines. But me and your neighborhood, let my grass get too high, I get a fine. So why is that? Why do we go to our neighborhood trash is okay? These $1 billion landlords get to have their property with trash all in front of it, grass to the sky. Why is that? Because it's okay for this to happen in our neighborhoods, but not theirs. Right? That's what it's about. The broken window theory. The broken window theory says it was psychology diagnosis. They say if a window is broken in the neighborhood, it attracts crime and violence. So that's why you don't see abandoned houses in their neighborhood, broken windows in their neighborhoods, but you see it in ours because that's the area that attracts the violence, and that's the area that they'll kill the violence in. Okay? So to get back to the point, I digress a little bit. Prescription opioid, I'm gonna end it with this, y'all. I'll get over it a little bit. The overdose ratio dramatically high. Responses, it gentrified. All right, it started hurting them. Keep going. Let's go to the next slide. Now it's hurting them, and what happened? Boom. Let's go one of the slides, the opioid law. You see that? What's that? From way back in 2013, when it said, so the NBA's death certificate, 2013 to 2023, data of preliminary and time of release. Opioid-involved overdoses counts minor, counts mirror all drugs overdose numbering among Minnesota. This is just Minnesota too. I forgot we did switch that like that. I just wanted to show Minnesota as we battling this. But then that's the chart of how bad it's gotten. You see that spike down in 2020. Y'all know what happened at that time. You know, you know, just started getting real good and hot. Right. They sitting in the house bored out of their mind. And now they doing too much drugs. They got too much drugs for time on their hand in those communities. You know, that's what was happening, man. No overdoses. And this is why all the resources are here for us right now. Let's do the next one. All right. So, about an understanding of SUD, substance use disorder. Right. That's where we are here now. That was substance use disorder. That was like, oh, all our people are dying, our kids are overdosing. Hey, we need to get them more support. They need counseling, they need therapy, they don't need because of the things that we gave to the blacks and the Hispanics. Our people need therapy. This is not crackheads. This is not a war on drugs. This is substance abuse disorder, right? And so this is what was happening. I think that's so so that's the end of so it said addiction recognized as brain disorder. And the brain disorder medications like methadone, you know what I'm saying? Anybody who battled heroin addiction. Heroin, you can't just stop doing heroin. You could die. But what they do is wean you off with methadone. All right? That's what they did. Methadone, what was that? Suboxone is the other one. No, I'm talking about this next one right here. It's a purple thing used. Harm reduction and recovery support expanded. And that's what some of the resources that I'm telling y'all about now. Is your people who die of this, they can get paid for their recovery. They start to read for their recovery. And a lot of people don't know about that. It's a long training that they can do. If they can pass the training, they can start making money to help other people recover. All right, and to get off the shores. A lot of people don't know that's what's going on. I'm talking about thousands of dollars a month they can get for helping themselves and helping people get off of substance abuse. All right, and that's what the harm reduction and recovery support expanded into that bed. They get in the way they get paid, the work that you do to help your people all these years, now you get billed their insurance for helping them with that same work. That's what that's about. All right, next slide. All right. And then the takeaways. Substance use has existed throughout history. Understanding of addiction has evolved. Today, substance use disorder is treated as a health condition. Education, compassion, and treatment saves lives. This sounds like an energy how to me. You've been trying to save lives and I just throw things the nation is not designed. That's what the scriptures call. The nation is not designed. What? And that's what we're doing now because we are calling blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to come together, the nations that are not designed by this earth. You know what I'm saying? What they're trying to do, you see what happens to the black, you see the Mexicans, what's happening in the Hispanic, you see the natives in reservations living in 10 cities on their own land. The nations that are not desired that the Bible speaks of in Zephaniah 2:1 is right in your face. All right. And the Lord is calling for them to gather together. That's what's going on here. The son of condition must be revealed. Right? And that's what's happening in the earth. People are starting to see who the devil is for real. All right. So if you're looking for shelter, comfort, a hedge of protection, the only way you're going to find is here now as you begin, and you're going to find out how to properly serve the Most High. So when these bombs drop and things that's going to happen to this nation happens, you can have the Lord's protection around you. We don't want you to be sure that you have it. We want you to make sure that you have it. And how you make sure you get in these classes and ISUPK and study to show yourself approved of what we're talking about. If you don't believe it, go back to being a disgusting person you've always been your whole life. Or you can make a change today and you can stop being insane, doing the same thing you've always done, expecting a different result. All right? With that, man, I'll leave that right there. We're going to get into, I appreciate y'all coming, man, and hearing us out. We're going to do another transition. We're going to get Candy back on the mic, and then we're going to Charity and Candy back on the mic, and then we're going to get into the round table of truth in a second. Please eat, church, get that food out there. It's a time to get the place out there. Y'all can eat, man, and enjoy this great food that we prepared for y'all. And we're going to have a good time. Then at the end, after the round table, we're going to have any questions. Any questions you have about this, or anything you guys want to get into those questions as well, man. But thank y'all, man, for coming out and listening. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate it. Did you need this mic back, or y'all good to go?
It's that time again. The ISUPK, under commanding General Yahana, presents the Lord's 57th annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person, ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under commanding General Yahana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and war like apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us. Watch where you stepping.